Hey guys, so the purpose of this video is just to address frequently asked questions. And it makes sense that you might not know what to ask because chances are you probably haven't planned a wedding before. So it makes sense that as you're going into your meeting with your wedding photographer or filmmaker, that you would have a list of questions or that you might not know what exactly to ask. And so the purpose of these videos are to address very frequently asked questions that I've had over the hundreds of meetings with couples inquiring about photography and video through my company. And so I'm gonna go over a list of just what I have heard over the years to be the most frequent. And so the first of all is, what's the pro of photo and video through one company? So when I do photo and video through my own company, I'm the person directing. Typically what happens within a wedding day is a photographer, more so than the videographer, cinematographer will be the one directing the day. And so coming up with all the poses, usually they're the ones kind of helping out more so with the timeline. When you book photo and video, there's no double communication that you have to have between another videographer, another photographer, both making different decisions, different suggestions. There's also stylistic preferences that maintain consistent when you book both photography and video through the same company. For example, I have 4 cameras, 2 of which I shoot my photos on and 2 of which I use for video. They're all the exact same brand. I shoot with Canon and then I use all the exact same lenses as well. I'm the one doing the color grading, I'm the one doing the editing on both photo and video. I'm the one posing, I'm the one directing. I have an entire crew, usually anywhere from 1 to 4 people depending on the services that you book with me, and the extent in which the day kind of is planned and how much is going on. But the consistency, the style, the directing is all consistent and it just makes the day flow a little bit better. Nobody's fighting over shots. And so that's one major pro, or that's a few major pros to booking photo and video through the same company. One other frequently asked question that I get is, what's the difference between raw footage and just a simple highlight film? So a lot of couples come to me, as you guys have probably seen from my work, if you have looked at some of my wedding videos, they tend to err more so on the simple highlight videos with a song attached to it. Well, then what's raw footage, Matt? Well, I'm glad you asked. Raw footage is simply just the unedited, non-color graded, just raw video throughout the entire day. And so I limit the amount of raw footage that I give to ceremony, speeches, and dances. And those are just a little bit of an upcharge just because there is like all this other color grading, back end stuff, and I do stick to the highlight films. It's nothing crazy, but there's just a small add-on, and that's just the way that I choose to conduct the packages that I deliver. Drone piloting. So I am an FAA certified drone pilot, which means that I can fly a drone on your wedding day. However, there are a few contingencies to that. If the weather is acting up, if it's rainy, if it's super windy, my main concern is the safety of those around me. And so if I feel that it is unsafe to be able to fly a drone, even though I do have a license to be able to legally fly one on your wedding day, it is up to my discretion to whether or not I will actually get that up in the air, just because we don't want a disaster on the wedding day. How many photos get delivered? It kind of depends on how much is going on your wedding day and the amount of hours. So if you have multiple locations in Chicago picked out, where you're like, Matt, I want to hit this place, I want to hit this place, I want to hit that, and it's 12 hours, you're gonna expect somewhere probably around at least 1,200 photos. But if you're all at the same venue, there's not a lot going on, you have a small family, you don't really value getting photos of the entire wedding party as much and doing different things with them, which is totally fine. You're probably looking at somewhere around between 600 and 700 photos. It kind of varies. And then what's the turnaround time? Well, it kind of depends again. If you're in September and October, you're looking at somewhere around 6 weeks to 8 weeks, just because that is my busy season. But if you're one of the first couples to book me, if you're my only wedding in March, you're probably looking at a couple days, no more than 2 weeks usually. Now that is subject to change, but that's typically how it goes. And then what are the pros and cons of a first look? What is a first look? So a first look is when a bride and groom see each other before the ceremony. And so we'll go and set up a location. We'll put the groom somewhere where there's a nice scene, and then we'll have him turn his back to where the bride is coming in. And the bride will walk up, and she will maybe tap him on the shoulder. She'll just ask him to turn around, and he'll turn around, and you guys will get a moment between the two of you. So now the pros of that is that we could do it in a location where you guys really have your heart set on that you might not have been able to if you waited until after the ceremony to take photos. So it could be, you know, even up to 30 to 45 minutes away from the actual venue. And then that gives you so much time to go and get specific shots in a specific location that you might not have gotten. It gives you a moment with you and your significant other to just have a little bit of time together. And then it also lets you mingle during cocktail hour after the ceremony. Now, the con to that is that a lot of people do value the traditional ceremony where the groom wants to see the bride walking down the aisle as the first time they meet. Whatever you choose, I just want to present the options. And then music licensing. So the way in which I license my music, I use a website called MusicBed. There will be a list of playlists that I might suggest, and at the end of the day, it's your product. So I know there's a lot of people out there that say that a lot of filmmakers that will say that they have all of the say in the film and what goes into it, and even the music choices. I understand that this is probably the most special day of your lives, and I want you to have a film that reflects who you guys are. And if you want to say in that, I'm fine giving up my artistic rights, because I understand that I'm delivering a product, and you guys as my client are most important to me on that wedding day. And then, okay, so you choose to book me. What are the next steps in booking? Currently, what I'm requiring is a 50% deposit to lock in the wedding day. That's non-refundable. I will require a signed contract, which if you do proceed to book me, you'll have an example of. And then one other thing that I just want to mention during COVID right now, the only time where I am charging a fee is between the months of September and October for rescheduling. That is subject to change. Just as COVID moves on and new information is always coming up. But currently, right now, I am not necessarily charging any extra fees to change your date. I'm willing to be flexible. I want to work with you. I understand that this is a time of perpetual change and uncertainty. And I want to be empathetic towards that. And I want to be understanding. That's the reality of the situation right now. And I want to work within that reality. That's one of the things I love about being a business owner, is that I want to hear your story and I want to be able to work with you guys, because I know that that's important, and that right now, the last thing that you guys probably need is just some policy that says something without a little information and somebody hearing you, because I really want to hear I guess the pain of having to reschedule multiple times and how difficult that is. And I want to do my best to work with you guys on that. What gear do I shoot with? So right now I'm filming on what's called my Canon C200. It is a cinema camera. I also have what's called a Canon 1DX Mark II, and then I shoot on two 5D Mark IVs. Lens-wise, I have 9 lenses. I'm not gonna get too much into them because there's 9 of them. I have anything ranging from 16 millimeters all the way up to 200 millimeters. And then anything in between. I have multiple prime lenses, which I will be shooting the majority on, as I have 2 cameras, both on my hips throughout the day. But then again, everything stays consistent, like I said, when you do photo and video, because of that. All the same gear all across the board. What happens if I get sick? A lot of couples ask, hey Matt, like, I've had what if you die? So I have a big network in the Chicagoland area of both friends, of other business owners. There's actually kind of a community surrounding Chicago photographer and filmmakers. I have such a massive network of people that I would be able to at least hit up 10 people on the day and ask them, will you be able to shoot this wedding? Do you know anybody that will shoot this wedding? And just because it is even a saturated market, there's gonna be a lot of people out there that I should be able to find. And so just the networking that I bring to the table, the years that I've been doing this, and the people that I've met over the years that have done this, I can pretty much guarantee that you will definitely have somebody on your wedding day. All right, so you already did engagement photos. Why do them again? So the main reason I include engagement photos, and then when you book photo and video, I include engagement films, is not to add some sort of value into the package, because I honestly don't add value by adding the engagement sessions to the price. I want to build confidence in you guys. I believe in my abilities to be able to produce on a consistent, perpetual basis that whatever product that you guys will be getting before the wedding day will look like it will on the wedding day. And so a lot of couples come to me, and it makes sense that they're like, I'm not a model, I don't know what to do. Well, it builds confidence that you guys will actually look good, that you will know what to do. And then we could refer back to certain poses that we did during our engagement session on the big day. And so that's definitely the biggest pro. I would say it's really good idea to go ahead and do the engagement session, both photo and video, even if you guys have already had somebody else that you've done it with. Do I offer second shooters? I do offer second shooters. To be honest, I've probably done at least 60 weddings by myself at this point, all alone. So I'm very confident in my abilities, and I will create a timeline. I send a detailed wedding questionnaire to all of my clients so that I'm able to actually create a timeline for them based off of the multiple pages of questions that I search for on your wedding day. And so yes, I do offer second shooters. I often prefer not to, just because that's my preference in how I shoot weddings. However, I'm 100% confident in my abilities. I've never missed a first kiss out of the pretty much 100 weddings that I've done at this point. But you do have that option. And lastly, do I travel? Heck yes, I travel, and I absolutely love it. Couples have flown me out to Iceland before. I've been flown out to Colorado and have gotten to film and photograph couples in the Rocky Mountain National Park. I would absolutely love nothing more than to travel. I started wedding photography and filmmaking because of the mountains when I lived out in the state of Washington for a year in college. And so it's kind of like rooted in my core of who I am as a photographer and filmmaker, to go to awesome destination spots. I'm a big fan of mountains. I'll do beaches too. I love beaches. But I am a big fan of mountains and anything that's adventurous. I love hiking. I love exploring. And so I would absolutely love to travel. And we could create a custom package for whatever region that you're wanting to go to. But I hope that all these questions helped you. If you guys have any more before you meet with me, no problem at all, and I would love to just talk those through with you. So I hope that this helps, and if you need anything clarified in the meeting, anything that didn't make sense in this video, don't hesitate to ask. I really want to instill confidence in your decision and how the day is gonna look, which is why I created this video for you guys. So until we meet, I appreciate you guys watching this, and I can't wait to hopefully work with you in the future. Thanks guys, see ya.